is within yourself. Unless and until you teach yourself is within yourself. Unless and until you teach yourself, you cannot teach God. They have all talked about the second birth. What we call the baptism is also the same, where you have to be born again. It is not just a formal one that is done by unauthorized people. Even the word Musalman, Muhammad Sahib has again and again talked of a rebirth. You have to find yourself. How do we find ourselves? Is the problem. Is there something like self? Is there really something like God? Or it's all a myth? Is there any fact in following a religious holy life that you get your salvation? So far, we have had no proof of it. Naturally, in the scientific world today, you have to give some proof of everything to convince people so that they seek them. But the science tells us that we were evolved from a little amoeba to a human being. Why? Why God took so much trouble? If you don't believe in God, we can say nature. Why nature worked so hard to create a human being out of a small little amoeba? Supposing we assemble some screws and we try to work out something, the passerby would ask, why? What are you going to make out of this instrument? What are you doing? There must be some reason why we have become human beings after so much of evolution. But science doesn't think of why. It just tells you it is. And whatever is not there, it says we can't. The instrument, whatever it is, supposing has to work on electrical energy or on any energy whatsoever, will come into force or will start working out when it is connected to the main. Otherwise, it is still in the making process, or you can say it is in transition. Human being as such is in transition. It has not found its own meaning. He does not know why. What is the purpose of his life? It's a meaningless life. So you have to be connected to the main. That's what everybody has been saying. That you are to be reborn. You have to become that. Now those who talk of this, they are born on the 10th floor. The rest of them are on the earth. When they talk, it all went over their head. You have to at least see the first or second story to understand that there is something beyond this human consciousness, this human awareness. There's something more to this awareness. There's a more opening. There's a greater dimension which one has to achieve to understand your own meaning. About Kundalini, all the scriptures, I must say, have described. All without, of course, in India, there has been a very deep meditation tendency thousands of years back. And some of the seers, long time back, found out about Kundalini. And even in Bheranga Samhita, Kundalini is described. But as you like, as you said about Vedas, you cannot say the origin of these books. Kundalini has been described in that. Kundalini has been again and again described and also abused and misused and misrepresented. All sorts of things have been done about Kundalini. In the Bible, Kundalini has been described in such a manner that it is not called as Kundalini, but they call it as sea of fire, tongues of flame. Many such adjectives, descriptions are used, but they have not used the word Kundalini itself because it is not written in Sanskrit. So there must be some mechanism within us by which we are reborn. No doubt. There has to be some mechanism. If I'm speaking to this mic to you, there must be some mechanism which is doing. Better? In every seed, there is a pineal, the mechanism, which germinates and creates a big tree out of it. In the same way, we have a mechanism. But this is a very subtle, while human beings are absolutely, in this Kali Yuga, modern times, they are even worse. Extremely true. And they cannot think of something such. If I tell you there is an energy which thinks, organizes love, it cannot think of such an energy. But how do we organize? How do we think? How do we love? From where do we get that energy? Why should we think about it? But as I said, that modern man doesn't think of how to take it for granted. So today I want to tell you about this mechanism that is accident. It should not be just the mental peace. No. It should not be the so-called knowledge of Kundalini from outside. But it's a happiness where the Kundalini rises and you get that, whatever is promised. In all the scripts. Today the time has come to prove the existence of the divine power of God all around us. We have been going and praying to God. Does He listen to us? Are we connected to Him? We do namaz. We spread our hands towards God Almighty. Are we connected to Him? Or we are just doing a mechanical thing? Even so many people are doing Hatha Yoga. They think they are doing it in the name of God. Is it the correct method? Can we do anything about it? If it is a living process, if it is an evolutionary process, we must think we have done nothing for our own evolution so far. From amoeba to this stage we have come without doing anything about it. We have taken our human life for granted. So what can we do about it? If it is a living process, it has to be spontaneous. It has to work by itself, like a seed which is planted. Germinates by itself at the most. A gardener can pour little water. I can pour water of my dam. Only at the boat. But the seed has to germinate by itself for seed. It is a living process and not a mechanical process. Perhaps we never realize what is a living process because we take it for granted. You see so many flowers turning into seeds, but you never see how it happens. You have no idea of spontaneity. You think by doing something, we are being spontaneous. So one has to be effortless because Kundalini is born Saha, just born. Saha means with, born with you. Saha means born. So awakening is a happening which happens to you when somebody who is awakened, like an enlightened light or a candle, comes near other lights which are not enlightened. And enlightened, spontaneous. Now you cannot argue with that. You cannot rationalize because rationality is a limited. You have to go to something that is unlimited. How can you do it with a limited mind? This is beyond mind you have to try. If you argue it out, you are going to be away. But in time, we have found out many things which indicate, which actually prepares the way for Sahaja, which prepares us to know that there's something beyond. We have accepted in the medical science that we have autonomous nervous system. It works by itself. We call it auto, swam, right. Who is this auto? Who is this one? The one who beats your heart, the one who digests your food. When we say that it is done by a system, we just give it a name. But how do you explain? You cannot do it. You may be able to increase the rate of your heartbeat, but you cannot decrease. It happens spontaneously, automatic. How does it happen? By giving it a name, you do not explain. In psychology, people have found out that there is something like a universal unconscious. There is some Sarvavyapi Achetan, which gives symbolic traditions in the brain, which are universally the same. They have accepted it. They have proved it by experiment that there is an universal unconscious. How many of them? I shouldn't say all of them because you see, after all, there will be always a controversy. Human mind must have something to eat. But they have. They talk of it. Scientists cannot explain many things. There is another thing which science cannot explain is how, why certain things act differently in a human body. For example, there are two chemicals known as adrenaline and acetylcholine. They have certain chemical reactions, but in the body, they react differently. They cannot explain. They just say the mode of action of the chemicals in the human body cannot be in the human body or in any body, except whichever is living. any foreign matter is thrown out. But when a mother conceives a child in the womb, it is not thrown out, but it is nurtured and looked after. Who does that? Who understands that this is not a foreign matter, but is the future child? Is there somebody thinking inside in your uterus or something that is controlling? Who takes the decision? There must be someone. Also, at least minimum of a human level, who thinks for you. So already there are questions for scientists to ask, and they all can be answered. Because the knowledge of science is analytical, is in different corners, and gives you part knowledge. Now, Kundalini can be seen. You can see the pulsation of the Kundalini can be. Many doctors have seen it now. In Delhi, of course, we don't have any doctors so far. I don't know if among you there are any doctors. But you can see with your own eyes the pulsation of the Kundalini very clearly. And if you have a stethoscope, you can even feel it. The rising of the Anahata means it's throbbing. It can be done. But how long are we going to sit asking for proof of a Kundalini? Let us now see. As I told you this morning, you must accept it as a hypothesis. Modern times are the worst time. For one reason, that you have to explain everything, which is a very simple thing. As far as religion is concerned, as far as other things are concerned, you don't have to. You will just accept. For example, if you have to put on this light, I have to just tell you that you go and put on. That's all. Nobody argues. But today in the morning, I told somebody to put his hands towards me like this. He started arguing on this point only. Why should I do? Now I said I have to tell you the whole thing. Why? It's a simple gesture, you should not do. And he has come here for the Kundalini rising, with all the rights for me. You can't even put your hands towards me. Arguments have brought you nowhere. You must understand. This talking blah blah has left you nowhere. What have you achieved? You think you have done this or built this building, you have done that. It's all dead. All dead. Dead converted into another dead. What living work have you done so far? What have you done so far that you can call as living? You cannot do even a seed plow. The one who does millions and millions of success, billions and billions of these seed plows. When we have to know him, at least let us have the humility to know that through your activity and so-called intellect you are not going to be known. And this is Bob wants to know the whole of the ocean. How can you explain to an ant the human civilization and the human problem? And how can you explain to a human being the working of the subtle divine force? God has been challenged by man. He's a great man. That's why in all the scriptures it is written, humble down yourself in your heart. That doesn't mean that you give up your intellect. Doesn't mean at all. But you must have the balance of your heart also. So, with all these apologetic words and introduction, I'm now telling you about the Kundalini, where it is placed. Because now don't start from the very beginning doubting. Please keep your mind open. Later on, when you get your realization to Sahaja Yoga, when you practice it, now we have many here who have got it and they have seen the working of the Kundalini and have confirmed what I've been saying about. But to you, it will be quite shocking. I know it will be. Because you cannot believe that such a thing can be inside us. Of course, the mechanism has been simplified because this is just a, I should say, a primary class, the first standard. So it has not been done as it is. I'll try to make it simpler and simpler. But you must know that it is a such a thing which you have not seen yourself, you have not felt it, you have not known it so far. It's something out of the blue for you. And in this so-called scientifically enlightened world, it may sound quite foolish to you that I'm saying this, but it is like, do not be fanatic about things. Even there are scientists who are real fanatics. Science is another obsession which has really killed their foresight. Can you see from here? Now, this is the picture. As they say, man is made in the image of God. You can say, now let us see the vastu, in the object of which you are the reflection. So, we start from the top. When the child is in the womb of the mother, the energy which you do not know, the energy that is all pervading, called as Chaitanya, is the divine power of love, of God, which is all around us. This sounds quite poetic only to people. Many people it's just a poetry, but it is not, it's a fact. Because we have never tried this power before. We only know the power of it. So this power of divine love of God, which is all pervading, this is all around us, descends within us. Yes, it does. In the human being also, when the child is in the womb of the mother. The brain of the man is evolved in such a manner that it gets the shape of a prism which has got three sides and the base. When this energy enters into the brain, then it passes into all the surface of the brain and some passes to the center. One stop here, you can say, not the center, but the as shown here. At the back, it passes to the brain, straight into the medulla oblongata, that is in the spinal cord, and forms your central nervous system. On the other side of the brain, left side of the brain, it comes down this way, but when it has to pass to the medulla oblongata, to the brain, it goes into the fraction because of different density, and then passes into the medulla oblongata, losing some of its resultant on the side. Into the final cord through the medulla oblongata. Another one, which falls on the right hand side, goes to the left hand side through the diffraction. Again, it loses some of its outside as a resultant. It's divided into two, one going down and one this way, and goes down in the medulla oblongata. The one which falls on the apex of the brain passes through the center and part of it, point to part of it, escapes into the triangular bone as kundalini. This is the arrangement made when you are born by God. I call it God because it is so. Of course, if there is God or not, that we'll see later on. That proof I'll have to give you, but not just now. This happens in a very subtle manner because, as I told you, it's a subtle energy. But is expressed in the gross way. In our being, as three autonomous nervous systems. The central one is known as the parasympathetic nervous system. It is expressed as the parasympathetic nervous system. There are two sympathetic nervous systems, left and right. But in the subtle form, which Kabir has described very clearly. In the subtle form, the channels that are carrying those different energies are in the center. The channel is called as Sushumna Nadi. On the right hand side one channel, it is called as the Pingla Nadi, and the left hand side one is called as the Ida Nadi. These are the subtle things which are existing inside the medulla oblongata, not outside. So, you see, when a doctor opens the medulla oblongata, the person dies. How can you see? How can you see a subtle form of energy through your eyes? You cannot see even your electricity through your eyes unless and until there is a lamp which is enlightened. So you cannot see those energies which are at work inside in a subtle form, but you can see the expression of it in the gross form outside. Now these three energies are like the breath which flows through a flute. The breath that flows through a flute passes through 7 holes. In the same way, there are 7 chakras. Basically, main. When we say 7 holes, actually there are more. Basically, I'm saying. I'll tell you about the other ones later on. Just now I'm telling you the absolutely, as I told you, in the primary first standard class, I'm telling you the basic thing. So the chakras, the centers that are placed within our being, which are existing there and acting there, and which are in a subtle form, are expressed outside as plexuses. Which doctors know? Is there any doctor in this group? All right. They are expressed as plexuses. And doctors know about the plexuses because they can see the plexuses outside. But what are the centers that are control them? I do not know if the medical science has gone that far to accept that there are centers inside the medulla oblongata which is controlling these centers. I don't know. I have done medicine for the same reason, because I had to talk to these doctors and scientists later on. So I have done it. But at that time, it was not so. Even in my nomenclature, you see, I'll be using those old terminologies, which I learned in my young age. And if there's any difference, you shouldn't mind it, because you people are changing your nomenclature every now and then. So these subtle centers that are placed inside the medulla oblongata act on the gross plexuses that are outside. Doctors will accept that much, I know. They won't have an objection to that. But little further they will not go. They cannot. They should not, as doctors. But as Sahajogis, they will. Once you have the experience, and once you have found out, then why will you say no? But one thing we must know, that if there is no microscope, how can you see something that is in a cell? With these eyes, you may not be able to see something, but supposing you get those eyes which are microscopic, and if you tell others, they are not going to believe, because they must also get the microscopic eyes. This is the little problem of Sahaja Yoga. That it has to happen to you, that you could see all these things what I am talking about. Now, let us see what are these centers. Now, when I describe them, you need not get a fright. You need not accept. Again and again I am trying. You see, with children it is very difficult. You have to take them this way, that way. God knows where their mind will just slip out. You see, they will find out some loophole somewhere and just disappear. So I have to take your attention properly, so that you get the stuff that you are here for. That you get what you have within yourself. You get your own powers, so that you know yourself. So I have to, chide you and look after you and manage you very well, so that there is no problem. Don't allow your attention to just capture your mind to take you away, you see, because your mind will be playing tricks with you. So be careful. Of course, you should not also get brainwashed by what I'm saying. You can judge me very well whether whatever I'm saying is correct or not.